All right, Yankees get beat last night 6-2 on a rare night when the bullpen didn't come through. Erik Boland, New York Newsday Yankee beat writer, joins us here on Big Board Sports on this Wednesday morning. Erik, good morning to you.
Good morning, Roger. Good morning, Chris.
Morning, Erik.
Always a pleasure. And, it's too bad last night the bullpen didn't come through, Erik, because I thought Jordan Montgomery, the young rookie southpaw, really had his best outing of the season. Yeah,
it was far and away the best of his 8 starts. And, he carried a shutout. It's 2-0 going into that 7th inning, gives up the home run to Kane. Really was the only mistake that he made. And then Joe Girardi didn't want him at 98 pitches and probably tiring to face Salvador Perez, who's the Royals' leading home run hitter. And then the inning kind of, unraveled from there. But I think if you're a Yankee fan, I think, you're frustrated at losing the game last night, but I would focus more on the positive, the fact that Montgomery turned in that kind of an outing against a team who 5 days earlier, hit him around a little bit.
Yeah, and 5 days earlier, that Danny Duffy was dominating the Yankee lineup, and last night, again, the long ball with Hicks and then Carter. Does he even swing the bat, really, Chris Carter? What? I mean, those home runs just jump off that bat. Looks like he's barely swinging.
They do. You can see why he hit 41 home runs last year. You obviously can see how he struck out 200-plus times, too. And we've seen more of the latter than the former this year. But you really can, he's always been known, as long as he's been in the big leagues, as a streaky hitter. And, you can definitely tell, again, why. He only has 4 home runs, but, maybe he's going to start to get on a little bit of a run here. But you can see how he was able to accomplish that last season.
Well, we talk a lot about Aaron Judge, and he deserves all the headlines for sure. But how about 33-year-old Brett Gardner and the 9 home runs that he has here to start this season? He only had 7 all of last year.
Yeah, I mean, he's been really, if you're looking for, quote, surprises of the first almost 2 months of the season, he's maybe not right at the top of the list. I think Judge, still is maybe leads that list, but Gardner is right there. I don't think anybody saw this coming, particularly the way, he was bad pretty much all of last year. It didn't look like he was particularly plugged in during spring training. And then his first couple of weeks out of the gate were awful, and you already were hearing when are they going to bring up Clint Frazier or Dustin Fowler or Mason Williams or somebody from the minor leagues and trade Brett Gardner. Well, you haven't heard a lot of that in the last month or so.
Erik Boland of New York Newsday with us here, and you can find him on Twitter at @eBoland11. Erik, how do I get into the judges' chambers out in right field?
As of right now, you just have to hope that a Yankees staff person roaming around outside the stadium finds you, because those tickets are not for sale, and that's their plan as of now. I mean, I never underestimate the Yankees' ability to turn something into a financial gain, which they're certainly allowed to do. But as of now, it's just a matter of it's 18 seats, I think, overall. It's a matter of, they have someone with the Yankees that goes outside and finds people that, maybe a father and son that are wearing Judge jerseys, or someone who might be wearing some kind of a Judge prop or whatever, and they select those people and put them in those seats. So there are not, as of now, tickets that you can buy, and again, as of now, they have no plans to make those tickets something that you can purchase. You have to be selected.
We've talked about this, and Roger made the point originally. Does this put undue pressure on a 24-year-old?
I think we get a little carried away in our business, and I'm putting myself in that category too. I'm not exempting myself from it. We do a little too much psychoanalysis. The bottom line is there's pressure to stay in the big leagues no matter what. And no matter how many times you're on television, no matter how many endorsements that you may or may not get, baseball's allowed to be fun. It really is. And for some reason that's become really debatable in our culture in, recent years. But the reality is that, anytime a team or a player or, whatever, does something that's, quote, fun in professional sports, it turns into a whole big debate. And I don't know if it's because of the phony debate shows that are on, TV and have been for some time, but, it's okay for professional sports to have fun with itself occasionally. I don't see any harm in this whatsoever. If Aaron Judge goes into a tailspin and turns into, a 2-month wonder, I don't think that's going to happen. But if that does happen, it certainly isn't going to be because he did a Tonight Show bit, which was hilarious, or because the Yankees, have a judge's chamber thing. It's because it's what happens to some young players. Again, I don't think that's going to happen, but that's not going to be the reason if he doesn't turn out to be a successful big leaguer.
Well, he goes into a slump where we're shutting down the chambers. That's all I'm telling you right now. And they.
Now look. If he does, then the Yankees do. Well, here's the thing: the Yankees are more at risk here than Aaron Judge is, because what do you do if he goes 2 for his next 75? And you're doing all rise when he comes to the plate. Then you look kind of bad as a franchise. So, but again, I just come back to the fact that, I've been doing this for a long time. And professional sports and actually just sports in general, take itself far too seriously. This is something fun. It's something, the fans have been looking for a, quote, face of the franchise to kind of really, who seems approachable and who seems to have a lot of fun and smiles a lot and acknowledges the fans on a regular basis. The Yankees would be silly not to take advantage of that.
Let me ask you one more question about tonight. We a 7:05 game against the Royals. What do you expect out of Luis Severino tonight?
I think it's fair to start to expect consistent outings out of him. I mean, you look at his numbers; he's got a tick over a 3.5 ERA. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but you look at what he's done. His strikeout, to walk ratio is outstanding. It's mid 50s, and he's got 12, 13 walks, something like that. So he really has, established himself sort of as the consistent pitcher that the Yankees hoped he was going to be. He's still. He's shown flashes of that guy that was so brilliant and so electric his first 12 starts when they brought him up in August of 2015. We didn't see that at all last season when he lost his rotation spot by the middle of May. We've seen far more glimpses of that this year, than we have in all of 2016. Obviously, the home runs, the amount of home runs given up is a little bit of a concern. He does have a tendency to get hurt on, he'll be pitching terrifically, then all of a sudden there'll be a walk and a hit and a 3-run homer, and he hangs a slider or something. But it's been far more good than bad this year for Severino. And I think people also need to take a step back with him and say, and remember that, hey, this kid's still only 23 years old.
And I tell you what, talking to Yankee fans, Eric, the mindset of Yankee fans has changed. The mindset now is it's a Yankee team that's in this season for the long haul with a real chance to win the American League East, or at least be in contention the entire year.
I agree with that, and I think if for no other reason than the two factors. Number one, I don't see a situation where this team, barring injuries and the loss of some major personnel, I don't see how this team doesn't hit the whole year. You don't rack up these kind of numbers 2 months in the season, and all of a sudden that disappears for 4 months. This team's going to continue to beat up on mediocre pitching. And guess what? There's a lot of mediocre to bad pitching in the American League. So that alone, I think the Yankees, you're always going to feel that they're in the game, and I truly, again, believe they're going to hit all season. Secondly, the American League East, the division that they're in, is not so terrific. There's holes all over every roster. Boston hasn't taken off the way they were expected to. They've had their own injury problems, and their offense is not, is still searching for that guy, with the loss of David Ortiz to retirement. I expect the Red Sox to finally get things going at some point, but, number one, that's not a guarantee. And number two, even if they do, I would still make an argument the Yankees are pretty clearly the second best team in the division. And so therefore, just that alone, I think will allow the Yankees to take this into September, at least, in contention, if not for the division, but certainly for one of the two wild card spots. And they have as many bullets at their disposal as anyone, if not more, to make a major move at the trade deadline. And so I would be surprised, when I pick the Yankees to win the division, probably not. But I would be stunned at this point if they don't go deep into September in contention. That's for sure.
Erik Boland, always a pleasure, man. Keep up the good work, New York Newsday. We follow you, and always a pleasure to have you on Big Board Sports here in Albany.
It's my pleasure, Roger. Chris, thanks so much. Have a good day.
Thanks, Erik.
Take care.